So, today was supposed to be a totally different video. Today I was going to show everyone how I normally saddle up my horse, and usually it's a beautiful, calm, relaxing thing. And today Honey decided to make it more of a training video so that everybody can see kind of what happens when they say no and they don't want to do it. And I guess because it's a nice, warm, early spring day, she's coming into her very first season of the year. We're also training for an endurance ride, and she's just in a mood. And remember, this video is sped up, so this is a lot faster than it is in real time. This took about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours total. So this very much condensed down. But normally I try not to hold the lead rope. I usually just have it drop down or draped across my arm, or just kind of stand on it with my foot. Normally she doesn't move around, and she just comes right up and puts the saddle on. Today she is not having any of that. And also, I just want this to be clear, I have already done block 1 for about 45 minutes before we even got here. We had already groomed, spent time together. I let her eat, relax. She went to the saddle and pressed on it, and then came over and stood right beside me, as she normally does when she says she is ready to ride. So this had already been done before we got to what I am showing now. And as you can tell, she's just quite agitated. She's not really in the mood. She's not wanting to stand still. Every time I pick the saddle up, she goes and moves out. She's got kind of a sour look on her face, and she just doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to move up here. Asking her, giving her a little bit more pressure than I ever really have to anymore, and she's just not having it. So then I just asked her to lunge around a little bit, and we very rarely do any kind of lunging. If we do, it's like 1 or 2 little laps around just to make sure nobody's sore or pinching or anything like that, and that's about the end of it. I usually do not lunge my horses round and round and round until they're pouring sweat. I just normally don't usually have to. And so I just asked her to move off. And I got the saddle on, but it didn't look nice. And so then I'm asking again, and it still does not look nice at all. And she is just moving around quite a lot. So we just decided we're just going to turn this into like a training video of what this can look like for a lot of people, and how it doesn't really need to look like this. So I'm just kind of going with it, and we're just kind of working through things. And she didn't like it, but she put it on, so now I'm just gonna stand here for a bit. And I don't have it girthed up or anything like that. I'm just gonna give her a minute to think on it. She's still, she's a little hot-headed. She's irritated. She's really watching me close. You can see her, she gets kind of flinchy. And all these are things that you don't want to be seeing in your horse. So, a lot of times you'll see videos of what it's supposed to look like, and that is what I planned on doing today, but sometimes you need to see what it's not supposed to look like. And it is not supposed to look like any of this. I had taken it off and let it sit off for a few minutes, and then I went to go try again to put it back on, and again she just leaves. And so now I'm gonna go try and put it back on. I'd already put the saddle on her 2 or 3 times already, and she's still just very, very, very unhappy with this whole process. And so then I just put the saddle down, and I'm just gonna take the pad off, and then I'm just gonna go let her move her feet around and get some of this agitated energy out of her. And he said, lunging is not something we hardly ever do. And I don't even know if I'd really call this lunging all that much. I didn't even ask her to canter. I was just asking her just to kind of trot off and move, but she wants to really move her feet, so I'm just going to let her. I think she jumps over the saddle a couple of times. She stomps on it. She gets the zoomies where she'll kind of slow down a little bit, and I think we're fixing to kind of settle into it and be okay, and then she'll just scoot off and bolt again. And these are all things that show me that she is not wanting to ride. She is not wanting to do the work, and she is very, very agitated. She's not wanting to pay that much attention. When I asked her to turn the opposite direction, she's head tossing. She's just doing just a lot of things that tell me that this is not good to ride. We're not in a rideable state, and so I just want everybody to just kind of see the things that we're looking for that we don't want to do or don't want to have. And she's starting to slow down a little bit, and then zoomy again. I'm just going to kind of let her, and you know, she doesn't even get to a point to where she's really broke a sweat throughout this whole process. Of course, she is in pretty good shape, but still, like, I am not getting after her. I am not pushing her to really run. She's pretty much going at a speed that she has decided that she's going to do right now. And when she gets too fast, too agitated, I just try to turn her and put her in the different direction just to kind of get her brain working back and starting reconnecting, because she gets just a little wound tight. And today was just her day, which is fine. I guess this is just what we're going to do today. I had planned to ride her down the dirt road and get a couple of miles in for training miles, but instead we're doing this. So, because I certainly would not want to ride her out alone with her being in this kind of temperament. And see, she's still, even though she dropped her head and she licked and chewed for a second, she's still really high-headed. She's looking around. She's tense. And she's just not having it today. She's still just kind of really, I don't know. Maybe her ovaries are bothering her. Maybe it's just the weather. Maybe she's just getting a little burnout. Maybe she just knew I wanted to do a nice video on how to saddle a horse, and you know, Honey likes to keep me on my toes, so maybe that's what's going on. So she's finally starting to just walk, which is all I'm really asking her to do anyway. I just want her to start calming back down, and dropping her head, and just getting in a little bit more relaxed state of mind. And there she goes, trotting off again, head tossing. She's got her head tilted away from me. Just not having it today. And a lot of times you'll find people will just ignore all these signs because it doesn't look all that bad. Like I said, she's not sweating, she's not rearing up and bucking, she's not striking out. But they're signs that you can notice and should notice. And those signs that she's showing me are signs that today is not the day to get on and ride and put ourselves in a situation where we could possibly get hurt or cause the next time that I deal with her to be more of a fight. Because if I fight her today, she's just going to want to fight even more next time. So she would knock over my chair. Naturally, I had to get a picture of her because she's so cute. She's finally getting there a little bit. I gave her a few more minutes there to just stand, and then now I'm going to ask her again to put the saddle on. And again, she still keeps moving. And then there, you see, she stands there, but I am holding that rope up higher than I liked to get it up there. And then I realized what I was doing, and I dropped it back down. So I would like to keep it dropped down loose, but now she is leaning away from me. She is not leaning towards me. She has a concerned eye. And she wants to step off in a way. And there she takes a step off to the side again. She's just... she's dealing with it, but she's not willing. And that is an issue there. Because I want my horses to be willing and happy to do the work that we're doing. And that face that she has right now is not a willing, happy face. And so this is something that I want people to see and start to be able to recognize in their own horses. Even when I come around towards the front of her, she has her ear on me. She's paying attention to me, but she wants to move away. She's obviously in a mood of not wanting to do this. So I do the same thing I did earlier. Just let her stand there for a bit without it girth. Again, this is sped up. And I always ask the horse to come to me. So when I want to saddle them or put things on them or move things around, I ask the horse to move, not really me to move so much. Like, I don't have the horse just tied up and standing there taking it. I want the horse to be more of an active participant in this process, so usually ask them to kind of move around. And so I'm just checking everything to make sure that everything is fitting on her properly. There's nothing being irritated in there. Just giving everything kind of another look-see. And she is a lot better. I'm not holding the rope, but she is just a little tight-lipped. And then I bring her over to the chair, and then we sit and we go back to block 1. I never ride her today, and we'll probably sit here about another 30-45 minutes.